So the update for today is we have some new arrivals at the garden. Here we have Chokeberry. This is the Viking Chokeberry. I think they get about 8 feet tall. Yeah, they're hardy to minus 40 degrees, which is perfect for up here. And they get 5.5 feet tall and 5.5 feet wide. And really good berry producing plant, super high in antioxidants. I don't know exactly where I'm going to plant them yet, so they're going to live in the containers for a little while, because there are some trees that still need to be dropped and some trees that need to be dropped there. And all this invasive viney stuff is getting cleared out by a excavator some point next week. So there's lots of places they could go, and I was thinking about planting them along the front of the barn, but I have to side the barn first, and I have to take down a bunch of tree stumps over there. So there's lots of places they could go, but I don't want to damage them by dropping trees on them. But those are really exciting plants to have added here. The other one is elderberry. Elderberry, this one gets 8 to 10 feet tall and 8 to 10 feet wide. Same deal. The berries are super high in antioxidants, and the reason why we're doing different types of berries is because our blueberries aren't doing so well. This is their third season in the ground, and every year they get smaller. The first year they did really good and we got blueberries. The second year, because we had so much snow and the snow compacted and turned to ice, and when the spring came, a lot of the chunks of ice were stuck to branches and the branches broke off with the ice melt. So this is going to be our third summer, or the beginning of our third summer with them. You can see they all do have buds, but every year the plants are getting smaller and smaller. These were about a foot taller and a foot wider when we first planted them. Big issue with blueberries is you have to have acidic soil. When you don't have acidic soil, they don't grow well. Like this whole plant might be dead from that bud up. Little tiny buds on there, so it's alive. This one's actually doing pretty good. Well, this one actually looks like it's alive. And then this guy is hurting. But there are some buds on it. So I'm pretty sure some of this stuff is dead wood. Like this whole stick is probably bad. You can see the split there, and that's gray. And I'm not going to clip anything yet. But we just added soil acidifier. This stuff. Got it on Amazon. I think it was about 10 or 12 bucks, and took like a week and a half to get here, but it came in today. So you just dig up the dirt around it, add a half cup per plant, sprinkle around, and cover the soil back over. So hopefully that was the problem, and we'll see a big boost in the green and the growth on these things in the next week or so. But back to the new stuff. Anyways, the berries that we're getting, we want to add probably another 6 different types of cold hardy berries that'll grow up here. But the elderberry and the chokeberry, that's the start. And they're really easy to propagate. In the springtime or in the fall, you cut down these branches, cut them into sticks. I'll do a video on that stuff later, but very easy to make more plants out of your existing plants. So I'm hoping to turn these 2 plants into 20 plants next year, and hoping to turn these 2 plants into 20 plants next year. Basically get 10 clones or 10 cuttings off each of them. And the elderberries, I think we want to do possibly like a hedgerow down the whole driveway. The chickens love them, and lots of good stuff you can make out of them. In this bed, we added a couple of varieties of tomatoes, because tomatoes and cucumbers are good companion plants. So the cukes were already here in an alternating pattern. And this is I think it's a sun sugar tomato. It's an orange cherry tomato that vines. And so is this one. And these are just, these are shrubby tomato plants that I think these are patios. which they'll get about 2 feet tall and get loaded with tomatoes. So those are going to be on the back side, and then these are the vining ones, because again, this is where the cattle pale trellis is going to go over to this side to where the potatoes are. What else did we put in today? The big plants in here are the beefsteaks, which are not dead yet. They're holding their own. But we also added the remainder of the patio plants, patio tomato plants in here, so they'll grow little shrubby bushes among the big bushes. And then we added some sugar peas along this end, and I put up a trellis for it. And as they get to the top of this trellis, I might actually add more trellis to have it bend over and away, because there's 6 plants there, and that's only about 4 foot tall by 2.5, 3 foot wide trellis. So there's going to be lots and lots of stuff growing on that trellis. Over here in the other potato bed, I did have to clear off some of the hay and move a couple of the potatoes, which still looked pretty good, but we added 6 heads of cabbage. So we've got purple cabbage, and potatoes and cabbage are companion plants, so they can they're happy to grow with each other. So we've got cabbage and potatoes there, and then I've got 6 cauliflowers, which I don't have a bed to put in, so I'm probably gonna have to transplant those into bigger pots until I build another bed or figure out exactly what's going on with them. They are really pretty, really healthy. And yeah, the tomatoes that I planted a couple weeks back didn't look like they were doing too much. So I got the last hanging strawberry plant from a nursery in town. And because it was a hanging plant, it had dozens of runners hanging off of it. And the way strawberries propagate or reproduce is they shoot off runners. So this is a runner, this is a runner, this is a runner. And let me get out of the shadows here. That's a runner. You can see that runner. All those runners. Some runners back there. And they were hanging a foot, 18 inches down from the plant. So what I did is I just peeled back some of the hay and white over here. And just basically the end of this just has to touch the dirt, and that will become another strawberry plant. So I just poked a little hole so you can see the soil there. Push it in a little bit. Mother Nature will do its thing. And those looked like there was 3 individual plants in the pot, but they were all root bound and intertangled, and I didn't want to damage the plants by trying to separate them. So I'm just going to let them propagate themselves and spread themselves out. And then these guys over here are, they call mignettes, I believe is how you say it. They're mini strawberries. So we have 3 of those over here. We've got the big strawberry plants with all their runners spread out so they can grow throughout this bed. And then we've got 3 other mini ones down here. The asparagus, I don't know what's going on with it. And there's not too much going on in here. There are, I don't know if the camera will even pick that up. Let me see. There's that tiny little green thing, and there's about 6 or 8 of those throughout here. And they're all in line with where I planted the asparagus. There was definitely, there's another little one. I can find it on camera. There's another tiny little one. There was one asparagus shoot sticking up next to one of those. Oh, here we go. I don't know if you can even see that on camera, but that is a little tiny asparagus head. I don't think that's the same one I saw earlier. What I've done is, though, I've peeled back the, separated the hay. Oh, here's another one of those little green things. And these little green things are only where I planted the asparagus. I'll be honest, I don't know. I know that I've seen pictures of what they look like growing, but I've never seen them this early. So I don't know if those are actually the asparagus starting to shoot up or not. But there was, can't find them now, there was at least 2 little heads next to leaves like that that looked like microscopic asparagus. So I don't know if they're going to make it or not. We do have some signs of life, but I They're really delicate when they first pop through, so I peeled the hay back off of it to allow them to pop through, and hopefully they take. What else got planted today? Let's see. I think that's it. Felt like more than that. So, yeah, big stuff coming is getting the front cleared out. And then after that, finding places for our elderberries and chokeberries. Or Juneberries and elderberries. But that's it for today.